Welcome back to the Big Three, everybody. We are rolling out all new interviews every week this October. This week, the one and only Larry Chen, the man behind some of the most iconic car photos ever taken. Joe and Larry talk about shooting cars around the world and why capturing car culture matters. Let's dive right in.
Welcome back to the Big Three. This is our final installment of the interview series. With us today is the one, the only Larry Chen. Larry, thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
Larry, you just came out with a book.
I did. Thanks for having me. I want to talk about the book, but I also want to talk about a project that we recently did.
Yes, and I think I know what it is.
Yep. Just came from Brunei, and we did an incredible story there. I'm really excited to talk about that, but let's talk about the book first.
Yes.
And then we'll dig into Brunei.
That was a great teaser. You know how to do YouTube.
Trying.
I really want to talk about Brunei as well, but
Yeah.
I also really want to talk about Life at Shutter Speed, Larry's new book, which is, I had the pleasure of flipping through the last couple weeks, and it's amazing. There's so many cool stories, and there's so many like moments that I had forgotten about that you detailed. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about like that this happened, like all the stuff during the pandemic. It starts with basically like the last 5 years, going through pandemic stuff and how everyone struggled. Just as an overview, this is like one of the best, most comprehensive car photography books that I've ever had the pleasure of going through. And I'm not saying that because Larry's my friend. It is honestly such a great book. It's like 7,000 pages. I don't know how you had the time to do all this stuff.
So I appreciate that. And it's interesting that you're coming at it from a different perspective, because I haven't met too many people that's had a chance to read the book, obviously, because it's been in pre-production for so long.
Yeah.
And it's something that we worked on for over a year. This one that you had a chance to read through, this was a pre-production version. So this was hand-bound by the publisher.
Oh, crap.
And that way we were able to get it to folks like yourself to get a preview of what the final book is going to be like. So this is the final version, but it's just like a hurry up, put it together. We'll send it to a couple friends, a couple journalists to take a look at. It's interesting because what I've been talking about all this time are the pictures, my career, my life's work in one place. But one thing that I haven't really had a chance to touch on so much is the fact that I actually did do a lot of writing for this book. And I'm so glad you had a chance to read some of the stories.
And it was like not what you would expect from this kind of book. There was a lot on like mental health. There was a lot on kind of, no pun intended, but reframing your life at different points of your career and being like, all right, what is important to me right now? What do I want to focus on? And it kind of puts, like we've interviewed you before on Big Three. I think at that time you were focusing on like your own driving. And I think that like now seeing the context and the backstory through your writing is really interesting, because it's like, yeah, of course, like eventually you're going to want to start driving after photographing these amazing cars for so many years.
Yeah, so just to give everyone a quick overview of the book, I went through 5 million pictures to create this book.
5 million?
So I've taken about that many photos throughout my career, 21 years of shooting.
Yeah.
And I narrowed it down to just over 2,700 pictures for this book. 405 pages. It's 8 pounds. It's a hefty one.
Yeah.
But it's a very, very good representation of 21 years of shooting.
It's very comprehensive.
It's my life's work. And it's just a good representation of what I've done up until this point. Photographing with Ken Block, photographing with you guys. There's Donut Media projects in here.
Yeah.
There's projects all throughout my entire career, starting from 2004 all the way to 2024. The way I laid it out was something that I've done before on web, but I did it backwards chronological, right? So as soon as you start flipping through it, you see my latest and, in my eyes, my greatest work just because I've had the most experience to do all of this photography. So it starts 2024, and as you flip the pages, it goes back. It goes back year by year all the way to 2004. But there's also eras and sections that I kind of break things up in, because there's just certain periods in my life, as you mentioned, that I'm focusing on different things, that I'm battling different things. But also, you can see the de-evolution of my photography. In the early years, it was more focused on storytelling. Like, here's the people that I'm meeting. Here's the cars that are racing. Here's what's going around in circles. Here's what's blowing up. I'm there to document that and photograph that. It may not be a technically good photo, but at least I'm telling the story.
Yeah.
And then as time goes on, you can see that I develop my craft. I develop my eye to have better composition, to have better storytelling, to have better colors, to have complementary colors. It's just a different way to tell the story, right? And then as time goes on further, what you notice is that I'm more focusing on things that pair along with video. It's not just about the still photo.
Yeah.
It's going to a certain time period, especially in 2018 when I was running my own channel on the Hoonigan Network.
Yeah.
I was doing a really deep dive into video, kind of alongside a lot of these creators like yourselves. We're all pushing so hard in this time period before the shutdown, with YouTube being just the big platform that everyone's just putting so much effort into. And it changed the way I shoot. It just turned it into not so much the main show, but like a sideshow, but also like an addition to what I was doing, another way to tell the story. So I wouldn't say right now is a good stopping time for me. This is no way, shape, or form like, hey, I'm stopping shooting after 20 years. Yeah. I'm actually increasing my shooting, but in a different way. This is just a good timestamp and a good, I wouldn't say stopping point, just a transition point to show, hey, this is what I've done so far, and then come along for this journey as I go further.
That's really cool. You're still telling your story. It seems like, I mean, just with scheduling with you, you're busier than ever. You have shooters underneath you working with you. Would you call them apprentices?
Yeah, a lot of them came on board onto our team not knowing so much about photography or video or content capturing or editing, but they at least had a passion for cars. And that's kind of what really drives everybody, because we just love doing it so much. We enjoy going to the track. We enjoy working on our cars. And that's kind of the thing, you know. I fully understand that this work is not for everybody. It's very hard, as you know. And maybe looking from the outside, especially when people are looking at my socials, they think that it's a good time all the time, but it's not. It's very difficult.
Hustle.
Yeah, it's a hustle. And as I've written so much time and time again in this book and through a lot of chapters, I talk about the struggles and I talk about the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And hopefully it comes through. I really poured my heart out. I'm not a writer in any shape or form.
Could have fooled me. I really
I take a lot of pictures.
I really related with all of your copy in it.
I try to be behind the camera, but obviously that has evolved now, right? I have to be in front of the camera. And I was really,
that was a big sign.
I was very, very bad at writing and just putting my thoughts onto paper. Even just growing up, I barely graduated elementary school, middle school, and high school, and I didn't even go to college. So I really was never meant to be a writer at all. I hated it. In fact, I think English growing up was probably my weakest subject. But over time, I realized that if you want to be in this space, you just have to develop as a writer.
Yeah.
And for this, I think it was about a 3 to 4 month period where anytime I was on the plane, I would just bust out my laptop, and no matter how cramped I was, I would just focus on writing. I would just really dig deep and focus in on what it was like back then because when I flip through these pages, these photos, yes, are special to me, and they may mean something to you, especially if you were at a lot of these events, which I know you were.
Yeah.
They mean even more to me in that I look at one picture and it could have taken 1 week just to create that picture. Or that was a good picture to represent that 1 week of work. Or it could have been 1 hour or a day or a project, or it could have summed up my entire year. But any photo that I point to on the cover or the back or the inside or any photo, there's a reason why it made it out of that 5 million picture collection into this book. It means it meant something to me at one point or another, or it was aesthetically pleasing, or whatever. It was a storytelling photo.
That's really special.
One thing that I'm really proud of showing in there is my first Instagram shot. I don't know if you had a chance to see that page.
I think I missed that one.
So I took a screenshot of my first Instagram post that I posted from my phone, because I don't know if you remember back then when Instagram launched, you couldn't post photos from your camera roll. You had to post it from the app itself.
You actually had to take a picture?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So then you actually had to take a picture through Instagram, and then you had to post it. You could add filters to it, whatever, but it had to be square. So I remember this day like it was yesterday. It was 2012. It was media check-in in Belgium at the 24 Hours of Spa.
Oh, wow.
And there happened to be a McLaren 12C parked in the parking lot. And I just snapped a quick picture of it, posted on Instagram. It was my first post. And I also snapped a picture with my digital SLR. I think at the time it was 1DX. I think it was the first one. And I posted both. I put both of them in the book as just like a fun little comparison.
That's fun.
Yeah. But there's like a lot of little things that really mean a lot to me in this book. So I'm very happy that you had a chance to look at it, and I'm glad that you enjoy it. I kind of put it as like a yearbook of car culture for this generation.
It does feel like a yearbook to me. I couldn't put it into words how it made me feel, but like even the moments that I wasn't there for, I was like, oh, this feels like, like a shop class that I had heard about and didn't get in or something, whatever. But I think you said something that really interested me, that was like scrolling through all these photos brought you back to those moments. But in those moments, you're like hustling and you're like thinking about what you're going to shoot next and what you're going to post and how you're going to edit these photos. Everyone else is enjoying these car shows and these races, and you're working your ass off. Like how do you get to enjoy those events? How did you learn how to enjoy those events?
I think I'm enjoying it my way. I'm so glad you brought that up, because it's something that I've been thinking about more and more, and it's something that's been happening to me since I started shooting pictures. People always tell me while I'm shooting the pictures, as I'm creating them at the event, like people come up to me and they're like, I can't wait to see your photos. And my immediate response is, you're at the event with me. You're looking at this car. You can touch this car.
Yeah.
It may even be your car. You own this car, but you still can't wait to see my pictures. And
that's such a good compliment.
It's just so different. It's a different way to enjoy these things that we love. And it's just a different way. I guess it's a different perspective. They want to see it through my eyes.
Yeah.
And that makes me happy. It's a universal language that people understand.
Yeah.
So with that said, I mean, that's kind of the core of why it works. People just want to see these pictures, and it makes me super happy that there's these enthusiasts that can consume them and can enjoy them. So it's really interesting. It's like me slowing down.
Yeah.
In a way, because as we know, everything is so digital. Everything's fleeting moment, like super quick. You consume it, especially on social media or on YouTube or on even on a website. It's like, okay, boom, you look through it. That's it. Maybe you'll never be able to recall that photo or story or whatever ever again.
Yeah.
It might be hard to find, or it may just be just the amount that you're consuming. Whereas this is something that's physical, that you can hold into your hand. And let's be honest, how many people are actually going to be able to see the images in this book and read the words, right? I could make one Instagram post, or I can make one YouTube video, and all of you here at Donut know well the reach. You do this one thing and 5, 6, 7, 8 million people can see it, whereas realistically, how many people are going to see this? I don't know. Maybe 10,000, maybe more. I don't know. But
I think this is more important than an Instagram post or like a blog post or something. I think this is like such a compendium of everything you've ever done. And every single page has a different emotion too. I feel like even if it does impact such a smaller crowd, it's more of an impact. It's more of like, not to say that like anything you do online doesn't have meaning, but this is like such a cool artifact to something you could pass down to your kids, you know?
That's a good point. Yeah, I really do want this to live on. You know, when I'm long gone, I want this and more published work that I do in the future. I want it all to live on. And I think this is the way to do it. You know, now this is in the Library of Congress. This is just something that I am super proud of. And it's something that I thought I was going to do a long time ago at the 10-year mark, but I'm actually glad I waited for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check which side your tank is on first before pulling into a gas station. You know the feeling. You pull into a crowded gas station, you finally get to a pump, only to realize the tank is on the passenger side. Now you've got to somehow move your car without losing your spot. It's miserable. Checking first is smart, so check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Now back to the show.
I want to talk about something that you touched on in this book about capturing speed and how hard it is and how you had to learn to do it. As someone who has been trying to get a good picture of an FD car going past me or something, like what is one little nugget of info that you can tell our fans or whoever's listening right now about capturing that speed and having it translate to something as like Instagram or whatever you want to capture it on?
Yeah, I think capturing speed is there's just so many layers to that. As I have explained a lot in this book, you can actually show speed by freezing the speed. And you could show the violence that speed brings, and it could be tire particles, tire smoke, body panels falling off.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be showing motion, right? It doesn't always have to be shooting the slower shutter speeds on a camera, you know, panning with the cars, showing the wheels turning, all that. While there's a place for that, it's not just about, hey, it looks like it's going 200 miles per hour. So much of it is, man, it has such crazy angle here, and it's just hitting full lock in this area, or especially with off-road vehicles, it's at the height of its jump. But instead of just zooming in all the way, so then you just see this vehicle in the sky, it could be 1 foot or 10 feet high. You don't actually know. But what you can do is maybe step back a little bit, shoot a little wider, and show, hey, it actually went off this sick jump, or it went off this little kicker or whatever. You know, there's just so many ways about it. And sometimes it just means maybe just taking a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good tip. There was a video I watched a while ago of the effect of your periphery on speed. And say you're like at the front of a car, say you're at the front of a train, and you can see everything around you. When you're zoomed in, it doesn't look like it's that fast. But when you zoom out and you get to see all the context, that's when you actually get a sense of how fast it's going.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because for me, I've always appreciated photoshopography, but it's not my thing, right? I don't just take pictures and then put it into a background. Yeah. So I put so much effort into going to where the cars are, going to where they live, and also showing the environment they're in, whether it be at racetrack, whether it be on a ice lake, it could be on the road, it could be in the sand dunes, wherever they are. I'm really trying to show, hey, this is where they are. Let's talk about Pikes Peak. You can zoom in so close with the best lenses, and you can just capture the car mid-corner at whatever, 14,000 feet. And guess what? It could literally be anywhere.
Yeah.
It could be right outside here in Inglewood going full tilt. But when you zoom out a little bit or a lot, then you'll see, oh, wow, this sucker is going full tilt at 14,000 feet and there's no guardrail.
Yeah. We have one of your prints in our office, and there's just like the cloud layer, and you get a sense of like not only how fast the car is going, but also like the environment, which is almost alien, you know, like above the clouds on this, like it could be Mars.
It's so funny because the drivers will comment like, they will say, I didn't even know it was like that. They're so focused. Yeah. And I know now that I've had a little inkling of what they have to deal with. They are so focused on their braking points, on the marks that they have to hit to go fast. They could care less if there's a beautiful sunrise, sunset, cloud layer, this, that, and the other.
And if they focus on that, then they would be dead.
Yes.
Would you say that Pikes Peak is your favorite race to shoot? I know it's not really a race.
It's tough to say, because I do think it's probably the most beautiful racetrack that I get to photograph.
Yeah.
It is definitely one of my homes. I have a couple where I'm very lucky to call my home, right? Like Formula Drift, obviously, is a place that I can call home. But Pikes Peak, the organization and the drivers and the mechanics and the fire safety, all of that whole organization, that whole entity has welcomed me with open arms, and I just appreciate it so much. I'm so happy to be a part of such a grand and historic organization.
It is such a cool historic race, and other than it being paved, it's pretty close to the original race that they ran.
It is, and it's interesting for me to look back on these photos that sometimes are 100 years old, and I can spot exactly where it is on the mountain. I know exactly what corner it is, but so even though it's just dirt.
Do you find inspiration in photos like that? Are there any like photographers that lived 100 years ago that you draw from?
It's tough. I think the people that I draw the most inspiration from are the people that I'm in the trenches with now.
Yeah.
And it's another thing that I talk about in my book. That's not to say I look back and I wouldn't say envy, but it's amazing to me. They amaze me in terms of what they were able to do back then with film.
Yeah. Without
having to see what they're doing, essentially, you know, not being able to see the photos that they're creating. I love shooting on film. I still do it today. And it kind of, I guess, it means if I can get something on film and it comes out okay, it means at least the skills transfer over. But it's just so much harder. It really is. I have to hand it to those folks for sure.
You probably just have to shoot way more, or just, I hesitate to say like be more dialed in, but you have to definitely be more choosy about it if you're you know, like shooting action especially, and you only have these quick moments here and there. Speaking of film and cameras, you are sponsored by Canon now. You represent Canon at these events and stuff. And one of these chapters is about how you had to keep the R1 under wraps before it was actually in production.
Yeah.
Did anyone ever catch on or ask questions about it?
Always.
Really?
Whenever, so we've launched 5 cameras now for Canon. And anytime I'm shooting with a prototype camera, people aren't stupid. You know, they know when they look at me, I feel like I'm not a very good liar. You know, I just have that look on my face, and especially if I'm carrying a camera and all the logos are taped off, including the camera strap, like the Canon is
It's a
taped over.
prototype strap too.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if I was a little more nonchalant about it, maybe people wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
But Canon, they're very strict on covering everything up and covering the logos, and if it was like a R1, they wanted me to tape it over so people wouldn't see.
Yeah.
But people knew right away. I mean, people know that I'm associated with the brand, and there's always rumors, and they see what I'm shooting with, and they're like, that's the R1. That's got to be the R1. And I'll either have to run away or just pretend like I didn't understand what they're saying.
Because you don't want to lie.
Well, it's interesting because Canon goes to such a great length to just be careful about leaks or showing what's coming up, even to the point where they always tell me to turn off the Wi-Fi in the cameras.
Oh, wow.
So then it doesn't show up as a SSID that's like Canon R1, you know, Larry Chen's Canon R1 prototype, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty careful about it, but I'm really excited because I had a chance to go to Canon's lens factory in Japan.
Oh, cool.
And check out where they make the lenses. So definitely check that content piece out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages.
The 2025 NASCAR season is heating up. We are in the final weeks here of the playoffs, and it seems like every week something crazy is happening down on track. The next-gen car has really evened the playing field, and it's anybody's guess who will take the checkered flag each week. The NASCAR Cup Series playoffs is approaching its final showdown with an epic duel in the desert for a championship trophy that can define a legacy. Once a playoffs field of 16 brave competitors, these drivers have been battle-tested at every circuit imaginable, from short tracks to super speedways, road courses to intermediates, and everything in between. The four contenders who have remained steady through it all have poured everything into this season: blood, sweat, and gears. It all leads to the finale at Phoenix Raceway. Who will rise to the occasion and be crowned a NASCAR Cup Series champion? Witness it all this Sunday. The NASCAR Cup Series Championship at Phoenix, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC and streaming on Peacock. Be there.
Now back to the show.
All right, so going back to the book, where can people pick this thing up?
If you are in the US, you can pick it up from Amazon. But if you want to pick it up from another supplier, you can get it from us directly. You can get it from the publisher, which is carrarabooks.com. You can get it from there if you're international, because we ship all over the world, worldwide. But just Google Life at Shutter Speed with Larry Chen, and yeah, it should come up. It's $125 for the book.
Totally worth it.
And
a massive book.
Yeah, it's very heavy. It's 8 pounds.
My son,
405
I have a
pages.
14-month-old right now, and his new thing is like picking stuff up.
Yeah.
And I have to like stop him from trying to pick this up because it's like half his weight. But it is like so, I cannot overestimate how packed this book is. You could spend like an hour on just one chapter just looking through all the pictures.
So I'm really excited to announce also that if you're going to the SEMA show, I will have a booth for the first time.
Oh, hell yeah.
My own booth. It'll be in the Central Hall, and it's going to be in between Hoosier Tire and Anti-Gravity. And SEMA is making a really big exception for me to sell my book on the show floor. And part of it is because I'm taking over from Chip Foose as the artist of the show for 3 years. So I'm going to have a booth for 3 years. And one big thing that I really want to push is my book. But if you guys are going to the SEMA show, come hang out. I'm going to have a wedding style photo booth there.
Oh, hell yeah.
So anybody that wants to come and get a little keepsake for them, just showing that they were at the show, come with friends, as many people as you can to fit in the photo booth, So
Okay.
yeah, I just wanted to bring that vibe. You know, that's what I feel like everybody loves so much at weddings is going to the photo booth and
Yeah.
using fun props. I don't know if we'll bring props, but I think
You
that
gotta
would
have
be
props.
cool. Maybe some racing helmets and stuff.
Racing helmets, like a
Wrenches.
swords. I don't know.
For swords, torque wrenches. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So if you want to pick one up in person, if you're going to be at the SEMA show, then I'll be signing them as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You touch on mental health in this. I do think mental health is super important for any line of work. For this, especially since your schedule is so packed, how do you balance work and life?
It's not easy. It is a battle.
Because you have children,
Yes,
right?
I have an incredible wife who supports me, and I have 2 kids. I dedicate my book to them as well as my mom. It's really hard, and obviously they've sacrificed a lot, as well as me. You know, sacrificing everything, my health, my life for this. With that said, honestly, it's not a bad life worth living. You know, it's something that I'm very proud of what I was able to do up until this point, and going forward, I'm going to still keep pushing hard. But it's something that I'm actively trying my best to just work on every single day. You know, being a good father, being a good husband, being a good friend. You know, it's really hard, especially me traveling the world all the time, going all over the place and pushing so hard. It's really difficult to just stay in touch with the people that I care about and that care about me.
100%.
And that's honestly why I like events like SEMA or just the big events and gatherings all over the world, Tokyo Auto Salon. Because I get to, it's almost like a reunion for me.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't just have friends locally. I have friends literally all over the world. And even though I only get to see them every now and again, it's so nice to be able to just catch up with them and pick up exactly where we left off anytime.
It's such an intense passion for a lot of people that, you know, like they're all doing crazy shit all over the world all the time. When you see those people, it's probably like you haven't skipped a beat at all. Like you just falling right back into the rhythm with them, joking with them. I've experienced that to a much lesser extent, but I do I love that feeling where you're like, oh shit, I haven't seen you since last year at this time. It's a massive industry that we're in, but it's also pretty small.
It's just about people. It's about connecting with people, and that's why something like the SEMA show works, you know, because you can connect with people. And I absolutely love the fact that they've opened it up to the public.
Yeah.
Friday's public day, and also it's pretty much public day every single day on the outside, right?
Yeah.
So you could just come check out the cars, check out the car show area. But most importantly, Friday, if you choose to pay a ticket to go in, you can see everything. It's going to be a long day for you, but you can see everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to pick up Larry's book at SEMA, that will be happening next week. Open to the public on Friday, like he said. Now let's talk about Brunei. When I saw your post, I was like, no fucking way.
Brunei.
Tell me everything about it.
It's funny because you being a car enthusiast, you get it right away. I literally just have to say one country's name, and you fully understand what it's about and what I'm doing, or at least what I'm there for.
Yeah.
I straight up asked the Sultan of Brunei and the royal family if I could shoot their collection.
How did you get their email or phone number? Do they just have a Gmail?
So this all started, I guess it's been a couple years in the making. For my Haggerty show, it's called Capturing Car Culture.
Yeah.
My whole goal is to just travel the world shooting cars, and I have no agenda whatsoever.
That's awesome.
I just go out and I just find interesting stories, and I see, okay, this is happening here, or somebody's inviting me because this crazy event is happening here, or this build, or whatever.
Yeah.
in the past couple of years, I'm finding myself more and more in Southeast Asia. And I don't really know why. Maybe part of it is because it is so far from the Western world, and a few Western journalists make it that far into that region of the world for whatever reason. I don't know why. I think there was even a quote from some of the original Top Gear guys. I think it might have been James May saying they wish they could have explored more in Southeast Asia. They did a couple things, but maybe some of the things that were a little more obvious, right? They did Vietnam. I think they did some stuff in Thailand, but they didn't really go even deeper. And that's what I've been doing. So I've been doing a lot of stories in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in the Philippines, Hong Kong.
Your story on Indonesia was really interesting. They don't have a lot of regulations.
No, they have no regulations pretty much at all. And same for Thailand.
That's awesome.
They could build whatever they want if they choose to build it. And that's what I'm trying to explore, right? So the Brunei story has always been on the back of my mind because obviously anyone in the car world knows what's going on there or what happened there.
And it's so closed off.
It's very closed off. So with that said, over time, I kept meeting people from Brunei because they're car obsessed over there. And when I go to these shows, I'll meet somebody and I'll tell them, hey, I really want to go and shoot. Like, tell me what it's like. Trying to make connections on the ground. I went to an event called Retro Havoc in Malaysia. It's sponsored by the Malaysian government, the tourism board.
That's awesome. That was in the parking garage.
It's the one where people
rowdy
spit
as hell.
flames and they light the
sprinklers
on fire, or they set off the sprinklers because it's so rowdy. If you could imagine the U.S. government sponsoring a car show to come do Pops and Bangs,
Never.
That's basically what that is. But what they're tapping into is this crazy world of car tourism. I know you know about it. It's happening huge in Japan. It's something they can't even stop. Obviously in the UK, and you want to talk about Car Week here in California. Think of how many people come from all over the world just to see cars. Right? So they're pushing super hard to do that. When I was there, I met the folks from the Borneo Custom Car Show, which is the largest show in Brunei, but also the island of Borneo. And the island of Borneo is where Brunei is located. And
it's massive.
Yeah, we're talking about Brunei, Malaysia, and Indonesia as this one huge island. Now, Indonesia and Malaysia, they have multiple hundreds, basically countless amount of islands. But Brunei is just a little like outcropping of that one island of Borneo. And I made the connection and I told them like, hey, this show sounds interesting. It's been going on for 8 years. This is going to be the reason for me to go to Brunei and to really check out the car culture there. So I made that promise and I took the steps and I'm like, okay, this is the date. I have this long to make connections with the royal family and I have this long to try to shoot the royal collection.
This is like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it really is. And I've said it before, but this honestly to me is one of the last true car culture stories that's been untold. You know,
all we have to go off of is the same set of pictures that were smuggled out like 20 years ago of like the rotting F40s or whatever, the whole room of yellow cars. And that's all we've had for like 20 years is just that set of photos.
Exactly. So I connected with a bunch of car content creators, just like myself and you guys here, but they're located in Brunei. And they also are a part of the royal family, but they're a little further away from the crown. Yeah. So because the country is so small, that's just something that happens, right? The population is under 500,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So they're car obsessed. They are absolutely car obsessed.
So they're in like oil country, right?
Yes. So they get oil credit. They subsidize the oil. So the fuel is very cheap there. It's under $1.50 per gallon, and it's like good fuel.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're car obsessed. I met with these folks and they're like, okay, let's try. Let's just try. And they had me write a letter to the prince. His name is, it's Prince Mateen, and he's the son of the current Sultan. So he's the one taking care of the collection now, as we know it. And I wrote a letter, and I wrote it to his office and also to him personally. And in so many words, I close out the letter with, I'm going to kick myself for the rest of my life if I don't at least try. And this is me trying.
Yeah.
And I want to tell the story with any outside influence, any angle, any political, whatever.
Yeah.
We're just talking about cars. And I want to show the world what Brunei has to offer in terms of car culture. So sent out the letter to him and his office. So the way the family tree works in terms of how this actually happened is that we have the current Sultan and we have his brother, which is Jeffrey. He's the prince, and he's the one who purchased all these cars, or the majority of these cars, in that time period, in the late 80s, 90s, all the way to like basically early 2000s. He is the one responsible for amassing this insane collection, the most insane collection the world has ever seen.
I can only imagine.
When he got in trouble for whatever he did, I won't really dig into that. The entire archive of cars, every single car, got transferred over to a government-owned company. Okay, so the power basically transferred over to his brother, the Sultan. Because it's like, hey, you messed up. You don't have access to this anymore. And in fact, you're exiled. So Jeffrey left the country for over 10 years. Once Prince Mateen got of age, the Sultan handed Mateen the responsibility of taking care of this collection. Right? So that's why we wrote to him directly.
Yeah, twist my arm.
Yeah, exactly. So then I connected with these locals, and they set up quite a bit for me to shoot, including 4 royal collections. Wow. The misconception is that it's just one large collection. There's a lot of royal families, and there's a lot of people in the royal family that love cars. It's not just Jeffrey. It's not just the Sultan. It's not just Mateen. Mateen has his own collection. Every prince or every princess or every somebody in the royal family of some significance loves cars. It's just in their blood. It's just ingrained in their culture, especially them, using oil as such a big part of the economy. They all have a collection. So we had access to 4 of them before I even landed.
Do you know how many there are total?
There's no way to know. I have no idea. I landed, and it was like a big fanfare. It was a big deal. I went on one of their radio stations on their morning show, and I kind of just put it out there, like what I'm there for. And it's amazing. They still listen to radio there. So it was like a big deal. A lot of people were telling me that they heard me on the radio. We did a bunch of car meets. And of course, I was there for the Borneo Custom Car Show. As things kind of started rolling, we started getting shut down more and more from these collections that were already set up for us to shoot.
What?
Yeah. So
who's shutting you down?
We have no idea. But we have text messages where it's like, yes, 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 yes. As soon as I'm on the ground, it's all of a sudden turned into no's within minutes.
I wonder what happened.
I don't actually know. It's all speculation. We have no idea what actually happened. But they're like, no. So what we did was I got with the locals that I met with, again, content creators, since they're royals themselves, and they have a seat at royal functions. There was a birthday celebration for the Sultan that happened that weekend, the day before the car show.
That's good timing.
Very good timing. So then every year when the Sultan is celebrating his birthday, they do a couple different celebrations. This year they're doing two. One on one side of the country and then one on the complete other side of the country.
How far is that in terms of miles?
About an hour and a half of driving to reach the whole length of the country.
That's longer than I thought, actually. Because on the map it looks
it's
small,
tiny.
but Borneo is one of the biggest islands on Earth.
So they're like, hey, you know, we wrote the letter, we all got all that. Our response from the prince was that he wanted to meet me, but we didn't hear anything else. It was radio silence because we think that somebody in the royal family isn't liking what I'm trying to do, you know, because they've just been closed off for this long. It's just maybe a touchy subject.
Yeah.
But with that said, they're like, hey, let's just ask them face to face. And we're talking about going to a sovereign nation, a country, and going to meet the king, going to meet the royal family. It's like us going to the UK and like, hey, let's go hang out with King Charles.
Yeah.
You know, or it's like going to, coming to America, like, oh, let's go meet the president.
Yeah.
In 2 days time. That doesn't happen. That's just impossible.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how you thought this was going to work and then how it actually did.
I'm still amazed that this even went through. And that's kind of the big story that we put out on our YouTube episode on the Haggerty channel, the Capturing Car Culture documentary, essentially on this whole project that we did in Brunei. So just to go further along in the story, we're driving to meet the Sultan and his family. And I'm thinking to myself, this is crazy. This is never going to work.
This is at insane. The birthday party, right?
At his birthday celebration, yeah. So then we go there, we watch a Black Hawk land on the lawn, and who comes out? Prince Jeffrey, the guy who started it all. The guy who is literally responsible for Brunei being in the car culture space at all forever. He's there. And we're freaking out. We're like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
This is number one. Like, he is it. If he didn't exist, none of this would exist. And I wouldn't even be in Brunei. So he's there. He's in his own Black Hawk. And then comes the Sultan. He's flying his own Black Hawk. He flies his own. Yeah, he flies his own planes. He flies his own 747.
That seems like a huge liability.
He's very talented. Him and also his son, Mateen, great pilot. They fly also.
That's crazy. This sounds like a movie.
It is. It was a movie. I lived like a real life movie.
Yeah.
So anyways, we watched Prince Jeffrey jump out of his Black Hawk, get into his, I think it was a Taycan. He went to the assembly area, and then the Sultan and his three sons, the crown prince, who's going to eventually become Sultan, and also his other son, and then Mateen. And they get into his G-Wagon, which is the only vehicle in the entire country that's allowed to drive around with no license plates.
Oh, wow.
So, and the Sultan's driving, loves cars, loves driving. He's driving. It just drives by us. And I'm just like, I can't believe this is happening. This is going to happen. So for his birthday celebration, they do crazy ceremony, national anthem, fanfare, bunch of crazy stuff. Kids from the local schools come perform, as you would imagine, just like a royal celebration, right? Yeah. And then
I've been to many royal celebrations, so I can picture it pretty good in my head.
One of the things that he does is instead of going to all the local businesses and making like pit stops, the businesses go to him, and they have like these booths, and they have this showcase, and they have these gifts for the Sultan, because the royal family is so revered, and they're so appreciated and loved in that country, because they have a good life. Despite what people from the outside will say, people have never been there. I've been there. I met thousands of people there, legit, because anytime I go to a place like that, I always bring a lot of stickers to give out
Yeah.
because the one-on-one interaction with the locals is very important to me. So I gave out around 2,000 stickers
Oh, that's awesome.
to people because that's how many people I met. I shook their hands, saw their cars, made friends, right?
Did people recognize you?
Yes.
That's awesome.
English is their primary language, right? And they speak Malay also. It's an English-speaking country, just like many of the Southeast Asian countries. They consume your content, my content, all the content creators in the US. They love cars, and this is like good, fresh content that they consume all the time.
That's awesome.
So
Shout out to all our Brunei fans listening right now.
I mean, let me tell you, I saw donut stickers on cars. Yes. It's insane. Like, I can't tell you how many of my diecasts I signed. If I was at the show and I just took pictures, I could have been there for the entire day without stop because almost 14,000 people went to this show, which is almost 3% of the population of the country went to this show.
Damn.
So when I say car culture is ingrained in their blood, it starts from the royals, but it trickles down all the way to just some Joe Schmo guy working on their BMW in their garage.
Yeah.
Like, legit.
What is the average car at a car show there?
Mostly
If that is a
JDM.
thing. JDM?
Mostly JDM. And part of it is just it's right-hand drive country and the proximity to Japan and the access to these cheap Japanese vehicles.
Yeah.
I think the R35 is king there. Like, if you want a fast car, that's pretty much what you have. That's not to say that they don't have, obviously, their fair share of Mercedes, BMWs, pretty much anything the Royals like, they like.
Okay.
And I'll get into that later. But the royal family is going from booth to booth, meeting businesses, meeting people. My contacts there, my friends that I made there, they had a pretty big presence there, and they had a seat at the table.
Oh.
Essentially, their family would sit right next to the royal family.
Wow.
So even though they're far from the crown, they have some say.
A little bit of influence.
Yeah, they have some influence. So the Sultan comes, the king of this country comes, and I'm just in shock. And I meet the family. They're super nice, willing to take selfies, very, very personable, very easy to talk to, very soft spoken. Not like making people kneel down or pray to them or whatever. Really just good, down to earth people, honestly. Meeting them face to face, I told them, hey, I'm from America, first time in Brunei. Your country's awesome. Just meeting so many people, meeting car enthusiasts. And they're just, it's like, oh, cool, thanks. Nice to meet you. Let's take a selfie, move on. That was with the Sultan. Then I see Prince Jeffrey. I go up to him, and first thing I ask him is, hey, can I take pictures of your collection? And he responds right away, right to my face, I haven't seen my car collection in so many years.
Oh, wow.
I don't think you'll be able to see it if I haven't even seen it. Because, as I mentioned before, he was exiled, and, he got a slap on the wrist for doing what he did. And he doesn't actually have control over this collection.
Yeah, it got dispersed.
This collection has gone to this company, this government-owned company, and he jokingly is like, hey, talk to my secretary. And I talked to his secretary, and his secretary's like, he's just joking. He's just, just kind of leave him be.
Yeah.
And I still thank him. I still say I appreciate, being able to come to Brunei, and, thank you. Talk to the Crown Prince, same thing, just thank him. I didn't want to ask the Sultan because that's insulting.
It's such a
I feel
like fine line to walk where it's like their event. You don't want to intrude.
Exactly.
But also, like, you're only here for a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
You have a mission. It literally is Mission Impossible.
It's so crazy. I mean, if you look at the pictures on Instagram, I literally take selfies with the top dogs of the entire country, So then I go down to the Crown Prince's brother, super nice guy. He's like, oh, where are you from? Oh, I've been to LA or whatever. Just good small talk, good casual conversation. Then Prince Mateen comes around. He's the one I wanted to talk to, right? He already said he wanted to meet me. He knows who I am. Big car guy. Honestly, kind of the heartthrob of Southeast Asia.
Oh, yeah?
He's like the charming prince, right? He when he got married, I think collectively, all of the single ladies in Southeast Asia, like, were very upset.
Yeah.
Because who wouldn't want to marry a prince, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, good-looking guy, talented guy. He does a lot of stuff, sports and flying. And if you think about it, like, he has over 3 million followers. That's 6 times the amount of followers that the country has people, right? So he's super popular just in that region. Mm-hmm. First thing he says when he sees me is, "Hey, Larry." And it was so loud, I couldn't really hear because everybody else surrounding me, my friends, told me that he said, "Hey, Larry." And I went and I shook his hand and I'm like, "Hey, I'm Larry," reintroducing myself. And I told him it would be an absolute honor to be able to shoot your collection or the Royal collection. And he looked at me, smiled, he tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, "Let's talk in private."
Yeah.
And so we connected with the secretary, which my friends already knew. And his secretary is the one that pretty much like set us up earlier.
She's the one that you were texting before that was giving you the green light until...
Yeah, well, kind of. He was our connection to the prince directly. But we weren't sure if he was relaying all the messages. We just don't know. Unless we actually talk to the prince directly, there's no way to know if our messages are going through. He probably gets bombarded with stuff all day, nonstop, every day, right? So we're like, let's not take any chances. Let's actually go and ask him. So then he sees my friends, and then so they're like eyeing each other, connecting. I'm like, okay, I'll text you later, whatever. So after that, I'll let you guys go and watch our entire documentary on the Haggerty YouTube channel to see the result of what we ended up with. And basically, I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish, but I couldn't go any longer without trying. And I'm glad I did. And that's kind of the point of what I'm doing now.
Well, do you think you're ever going to make it back to Brunei?
I don't know. I mean, I always go back to the places that I go to shoot. Yeah. I always do, because there's always more stories to uncover. I can shoot for the rest of my life, and there's no way I'm ever going to be able to see all of the cars, all the builds. There's not enough weekends in my lifetime, And that's the beauty of it. With that said, I met so many locals that have cars because of the Royals, whether they get gifted the car because of their service, or they just purchased it at a very decent price just over time. The trickle-down effect is real. They love cars at the top and every single level all the way down. And we're talking about everyday pedestrian cars that were former Royal cars. They show me their pink slip, which is blue, so that it's their blue slip, that shows clearly registered to the palace.
Wow.
Or owned by that company, which is called Bantu, and now it's called Bantry, because I don't know if it's a true story, but a lot of the locals told me that they created this banned company because it's like these things were banned.
Oh,
I don't know if it's true, but it's BAND 1 or BAND-TOO, and now the company has evolved to BAND-TREE, so band tree, like almost like three as in an accent.
Yeah.
So it's band 1, band 2, TOO, and now it's band tree, and these cars are registered under these company names, but it still is crazy. You'll see in my video, I'm showing these blue slips that say Band 2 or Band 3, and it literally says registered to the Ministry of Finance, which was Prince Jeffrey's thing that he was taking care of around that time, or it's registered to the address for the palace.
Wow.
It's crazy, man.
What a crazy story, man.
It's so insane.
Because, I mean, you've pulled down the veil on this story that has been ruminating for so long. And I feel like you're demystifying a lot of stuff surrounding it too.
Yeah, you know, I don't know why other people haven't tried. A lot of people tell me maybe it's just because they feel like it's so far.
Yeah.
But it's really not.
How long was the flight?
So
where did you go?
I had to go to Singapore because there's no other way really from the US to go there. So you have to go to Singapore. I spent the day there. I love going there because I have a lot of friends there. The car culture there is very, very strong, despite all the challenges that they have.
And that is a heavily regulated spot.
Everything's
right?
10 times the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a GR Yaris is $220,000 US dollars. But anyways, it's so expensive.
Yeah.
For everything. I think right now A86 is about $350,000.
What is the median income there? It's pretty high, right?
Well, if you choose to own a car, you have to be pretty wealthy.
Okay.
You have to be able to afford it because you could get around with public transportation or a motorcycle or whatever.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about Brunei, and it's something that I didn't really quite put my finger on right away, is that the country itself, they're so car focused, they're so into cars. There's really no scooters or no motorcycles. It's not like going to Vietnam or Malaysia or Indonesia or Japan or anywhere, China. Any one of those other countries, there's bicycles, there's scooters, there's beep, 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 you know, like two-stroke, like just chaos in the streets. And also a lot of Latin America countries, right? It's just the cheap transport. Not in Brunei. You would go an entire day without seeing one scooter.
Wow.
And it's because everybody just has cars.
Are the roads really nice?
The roads are pretty good. The roads are a lot better than most of the other Southeast Asian countries that I've been to. There's one road that basically spans the entire country because a lot of the oil fields are on one side and people have to do like that entire cross-country commute. And I know a lot of people go flat out in between because it's very smooth and it's very nice. And
are there any racetracks?
There's no racetracks. They used to do highway racing legally, where they'll shut down the highway and do like legal no prep drag racing or standing mile or whatever. They don't do that anymore. If you want to go to a racetrack, you have to drive into Malaysia on Borneo, and there's some facilities outside of Brunei. Or you have to ship your car to Thailand or something.
Wow. There's, I mean,
it's a lot.
I have a million questions.
I literally, it's something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did it. Because I hear about so many journalists saying, oh, one day I want to see the collection. Or one day, my day was that day.
You have such an interesting way to go about it too, where like, you're not going there just to like hang out and maybe run into them. Like you're making a beeline to talk to them and really like get to the point. And you're documenting the whole thing, which is awesome.
So it's not lost on me where I am in the car culture space. You know, I've built up a reputation now over this much time.
Yeah.
And I use that to my advantage to get access to this stuff, you know, to push what's possible, to further the agenda of car culture and to further explore. So it's not just some Joe Schmo, you know, forgive me for even saying that. It's not just some rando, hey, can I go meet the Royals or can I check out any collection anywhere? Could be Europe, could be US, could be South America, could be anywhere. At least I have some sort of reputation and also a history of being very positive about car culture and being just single focused on this thing with no other agenda.
Yeah. I think if someone was like a little bit leery of you and they went back and checked out all of your blogs and all of your Instagram posts and everything you've ever done, there would be no red flags about it. And it'd be like, you're not some influencer that's going into like, uncover for clout. It's like you're really interested in the car culture itself and the collection. And I think that's super admirable to go into it with such honest intentions and just have them put them out on the table. And if they're, accepting, then you're in. If not, then you're just onto a different story. You're doing other stuff. You're talking about the Borneo Custom Car Show, which is something I didn't know existed up until 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, they've been doing it. This is their 8th year.
Wow.
And if you could just imagine, what if 3% of the population of the U.S. went to a event?
Yeah.
Any event. That's impossible.
Yeah.
That's, what is that? 4 million people or almost 4 million people?
Yeah.
Like,
that's crazy.
How is that possible? That's not possible. That doesn't exist. But this...
Wait, that'd be like 10 million.
I don't even know. but anyways, with that said, with this country, like I went to the birthday celebration and I would say it was fair to say it was 1% of the population went to the birthday celebration.
Is that many people?
Yeah, 5,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So give or take, I don't know. It's just an estimate.
Yeah.
But guaranteed five Brunei dollars, which is like $3.50 per person. They paid 14,000 of them paid to go to this show over a 2-day period.
Yeah.
Like the traffic was unbelievable. Like you wouldn't believe these roads were never meant for this many people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very refreshing for me to meet these people face to face, hear their stories, make friends. And I'm going to go back. Part of it is because there's just too many stories to tell.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for you to go back. Larry, we are out of time for now, though. Please go pick up Larry's book, Life at Shutter Speed, at carrarabooks.com or on Amazon, or check him out at SEMA next week and go to his booth. Larry, thank you so much for joining us.
As always.
We'll see you next week.